November 1974, northeastern Pennsylvania, a quiet residential street, a sudden glow in the night sky. Dozens of witnesses watch as a large silent craft descends, hovering just above the ground. Police are called, reports are filed, and questions unanswered. This is the Carbondale UFO Incident. Will you believe? Let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of Mostly True Alien Stories. They're coming.
UFO sightings. Many Americans have wondered about dangers of unknown objects.
In Mexico pulling back the curtain. We need to save ourselves.
All right, welcome back to Mostly True Alien Stories. I'm Neal, and this is the podcast where we take a true report of an alien encounter from history. We share what we know, then decide whether it's a mostly true alien story or not. Today, we're heading to Carbondale, Pennsylvania in November of 1974. It was one of the least known but best documented mass UFO sightings of the 70s that happened with dozens of witnesses, a silent craft. It's the Carbondale, PA UFO Incident. Quick reminder to hit that subscribe button and follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Mostly True Alien Stories for daily extra content and cool alien conversations. And helping me break down today's report is the only human Freedom of Information Act guy I know. It's Andrew Triana. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Neal. What's going on, buddy?
I just saw this very cool report that the Canada Sports Betting Group, have you heard of them?
DraftKings?
Yeah, it's like that. It's sort of
But
along
it's
those
Canada's
lines.
version.
The Canada Sports Betting Group created something they call the Alien Abduction Odds Index of 2026. And
Come on.
no, seriously, this is it doesn't predict the actual alien abductions, but it looks at where people report sightings that include abduction-like details. So missing time, close encounters, those kind of physical contact claims. And then it calculates an implied probability of an alien abduction based on frequency of those reports relative to the population. So they use these data sources. They use NUFORC, which is the National UFO Reporting Center. The Canadian UFO Survey, U.S. Census Bureau, population data. They use Statistics Canada, CDC sleep data. They use a whole bunch of these things. And then they take all of that and they come up with the implied probability of an abduction. So let me tell you an example of, so Ohio for some reason blew up. They kind of went viral about Ohio's probability. They have a 1.13%. or roughly one reported abduction style experience for every 89 people in that data set. So
What?
Yeah. So they took the information from 2019 till now. There's been 4,000 plus abduction related reports in Ohio that happened since 2019. 4,000. And I think, you know how I feel about Ohio. I think Ohio is the epicenter. I think Ohio itself, the state, is a mothership of aliens because everything weird happens in Ohio.
Dave Chappelle is in Ohio right now. He lives in Ohio, in Yellow Springs.
Yeah, well, he's an alien.
He's bought up the whole town.
Anyway, they took all that numbers. So if you look at that, the 1 in 89 people could be abducted in Ohio. And Ohio's not even in the top 10. They're like 21st or something like that.
Isn't New Jersey is high, right? New Jersey is high probability.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because New Jersey ranks outside the top 10. Let me look at the chart here because I could tell you. I actually have a chart. They have a chart that you could scroll over the state and it'll tell you. So New Jersey actually is they're ranked 32nd.
Oh wow!
And they only have a 0.99%, 1 in 101 probability of being abducted. So Indiana is 1 in 250. Like nothing happens in Indiana.
No, because everyone here is like children of the corn. What I call children of the corn and inbred, and everyone's related, and that's why they don't want that. They want crossbreeding. They don't want this is my sister and my mama, and there's one person standing there. They don't want that.
Why don't you guess what's the number one state you think?
Maine.
You're going to say Maine. You're wrong.
Okay.
Take another guess.
New Hampshire.
It is New Hampshire. New Hampshire is 2%.
Yeah.
That's the high. They have the highest UFO reports per 100,000 residents.
Yep. You should move there.
Oh, shit.
I can go to Ohio. It's literally 5 miles away. I can just go into Ohio and just wait
for an alien.
No, I'll gather 88 more people around me,
and see what
one of us will get abducted. And then you can bet on it.
We'll make so much money. It's like the guy who bet on himself that he would streak across the Super Bowl during the Super Bowl, and he's done it before. So he put $100,000. He bet $100,000 on himself that he would streak, that there would be not on himself, but he bet on himself that he would be able to prop bet. So he's going to bet $100,000 that he could streak across the field during Super Bowl. And, security is really tough. So I think it was 100,000. Might have been more because you have to pay bail. It's like 60 grand. So
he had to make it worth his while.
Yeah. So what he did was disguised himself because he's done it before. So he's been banned from Super Bowl. He disguised himself. And I think he had an accomplice that did a jump over. Security ran to that guy, and then he jumped over and took off across the field. And so
butt-ass naked?
Well, he wasn't. He had his shirt off. So then he ended up getting, arrested and all that, but he won the bet.
Dang.
Cash in. I think they're going to have to change that rule because, or just take it out.
Was he like bragging about it while they were running a train on him in prison?
It's like, I got $100,000.
I got $100,000. Not Billy Bob again. No, not Billy Bob, please.
But I think you're onto something. I think we should do the same thing with the alien stuff. We're going to go, we'll bet on it.
Yeah.
And we'll just put people out there that
we can get
with
Kevin
a sign
Hart.
that says, take me. And
we can get Kevin Hart and Shaq to do the ads for us like they do on DraftKings and all that stuff. We'll get them out there and UFO, we'll call it UFO Kings.
I do want to preface to our listeners, because some people don't listen all the way through on some of the stuff we talk about in this news. It's not a prediction of future encounters that they're doing here. This isn't
just the odds
prediction. It's just odds. It's a fun thing to do, I think. And you guys can go, you can check it out. There's a site, but it's Alien Hotspots. It's implied odds of reported alien abductions by state. You can scroll over, you can see what your odds are of being abducted.
So you're going to drive up to New Hampshire?
I might, but either there. So Idaho is number 2, and then Vermont, then Maine, and then Oregon.
I'm going to bet that I get abducted first.
All right. So whether your state ranks 1st or 50th, at the end of the day, those numbers come from real people filing real reports. And today we're diving into one of those reports, a case out of Pennsylvania that never needed an index to make headlines. Andrew, are you ready to get into the Carbondale UFO incident?
I believe I am.
It was the evening of November 9th, 1974, and residents of Carbondale, Pennsylvania began noticing something unusual in the sky. Witnesses described a large glowing object, circular or oval in shape, moving slowly and silently over a residential neighborhood near Meridian Street, wherever that is. Unlike aircraft or helicopters common to the region, this object made no sound. As the object descended, it reportedly hovered just above the ground, illuminating nearby houses and yards with a bright white-yellow light. Multiple residents stepped outside to watch. Some called neighbors and others called the police. This wasn't a single witness moment either. Dozens of people observed the object, many from different angles and distances. Local police officers responded to the scene and filed official reports, noting witness descriptions and the unusual circumstances. Officers themselves did not report seeing the craft directly, but documented the consistency of the accounts. After several minutes, the object reportedly rose straight up and disappeared into the night sky. But the story didn't end there. The following morning, residents discovered physical traces where the object had hovered. Grass appeared flattened or scorched, and soil samples were later described as dried or compacted, inconsistent with normal environmental damage. The incident was quietly investigated by local authorities and later reviewed by civilian UFO researchers, including organizations active during the 70s. There were no conventional explanation, aircraft, balloon, meteorological events, nothing that ever fully accounted for the silent hovering, the low altitude, the duration, or the number of witnesses. No one claimed any contact. There were no beings reported on this one. It's just a craft and a neighborhood full of people who all saw the same thing. All right, that's the report as I have it. I'm going to hand it over to Andrew. and he is going to fill in some details, and then we are going to weigh in on whether we think this is a mostly true alien story or not, based on what we talk about here.
Right.
All right, Andrew, what do you have on the Carbondale?
Okay, well,
EA?
as I dug into this one, there are several different stories
Yeah.
that happened in Carbondale. The biggest story that I found, the one that you found was like the early reports of the craft hovering and all of that.
Okay.
What I discovered was the thing actually landed.
Oh.
And it landed in a pond. So just to give you a little bit of an history.
Landed in a pond.
In a pond.
Interesting. Okay.
They are special water sections. They call them ponds, but where they dig coal, they have to have water there nearby as they dig. And as they dig, water comes up. So there's this huge pond area where they were digging, and they use these machines called breakers. So it was fascinating because I learned about coal mining.
Nice.
I know. And then it made me start singing, I'm proud to be a coal miner's daughter.
Yeah.
Except we weren't in Butcher's Holler.
Right.
We're in Carbondale, so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It was Saturday, November 9th. It was late in the evening. There were 5 kids that saw this. They saw a bright light in the sky, and they saw this thing actually go into the water. It was quiet. It made no sound. It didn't even make a splash when it went into the water. So these kids freak out.
Were these kids high school or
they're teenagers? Yeah, they're teenagers.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. They went to the police station.
Okay.
And they said, "Hey, guys, we just saw this as a kid." And they were like, "What, are you high?" Why is that always the answer? What are you high?
Well, it's the 70s, and they were teenagers, and the police back then.
Okay.
That's how they handled things.
So the calls start coming in while the kids are there at the police station.
So more calls are coming in. The kids are there. Okay, got it.
People saw the lights. They go out to.
Did the police
pond.
say to everybody to call them, "What are you, high?"
Yeah, everybody. They were like,
Yeah.
"What are you, drunk? What are you, on acid?
Everybody.
What
they
are
called.
you, on heroin?
They were running out of shit to ask.
Are you smoking weed? Are you on amphetamines? Are you sniffing glue?
You have diarrhea.
What's wrong with you? You have tuberculosis." I mean, they
Get
went
out
through
of here.
the whole chain, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, the kids.
Do you have tuberculosis?
Just put that out there.
Do you have the measles?
Yeah, it's like, that's why I love watching these pharmaceutical ads on TV, because they always say that this could cause liver problems with your immunity system, or tuberculosis. I'm like, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah.
I haven't had tuberculosis since, Wyatt Earp's day with Doc Holliday. Oh,
You may experience visions of killing people.
You may see aliens in a pond, and you'll get tuberculosis. Just to let you know. And don't
Let me
worry
see your
about
prescription bottle.
don't worry about liver failure, diarrhea, anal seepage, bleeding arteries. Don't worry about any of that. It's the tuberculosis is what we're really concerned
Now
about.
get out of my police station.
Get out of the station, unless you're on that drug, and then we're going to commit you. So they go, the cops go, and they see this bright light in the water. So what do you think the cops do?
Do they shoot it? Did they shoot it?
The water.
Did they shoot at it? For real?
For real.
That's how they're going to do it.
They shot into the water. So everything's going like nuts, dude. People are like freaking out in the town. The next morning, there are 1,000 people in Russell Park. This took place in Russell Park in Carbondale.
Right.
There are 1,000 people out there. Now, I saw an interview with Michelle Bannon, who is the current mayor of Carbondale.
Okay.
And she said that she was in the park. She was a kid, and she was in the park that night that this happened. She said an official UFO network, a section director by the name of Douglas Danes, also Hynek. Remember our buddy Hynek?
Yeah, he's everywhere.
Hynek was there, and they were all there within 24 hours of this thing happening. Okay?
So they definitely thought something was up. I still don't understand why the police would shoot at it. I mean, what is that?
Dude, they're like, who's going to kill it? Whatever it is. Shoot first, ask questions later.
There were no other details regarding why, like there was something that happened or bubbling or something seemed like threatening to them, and they were like, let's shoot it?
No.
Man, it could have been kids in the lake just screwing around with, a
with
light.
a flashlight. Like, look at me.
Yeah.
I'm under. Pew.
Yeah.
It's just floating to the top of the
Yeah.
water.
I mean, that's so odd.
Okay. So apparently, on Sunday morning, people saw something being removed from the water and taken out on a flatbed truck. And they put a tarp over it. That's like their favorite thing to do. They just throw a freaking tarp over
Yeah, but
whatever it was they took out of the water.
but you said there was 1,000 people there in the morning,
1,000 people.
But what do you say? They saw something being taken out. No one could describe.
No one
what that
saw
was?
it actually come out of the water. They just saw it. They knew that it came out of the water, I guess, because it was dripping and it was on the back of a flatbed truck covered in a tarp. And that thing drove away.
I mean, that could have been, let's just say, and it's happened here in New Jersey a lot. You know, somebody passes out driving and the car goes into a water and the lights are on and it looks like something coming out of the water and they shoot it. And then the next thing you know,
in the car who's trapped.
Yeah, right. We're not going to save
They're
you.
like,
They had a chance until the police arrived.
they shot him.
But you know
Okay,
what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
what is that? Okay.
Right. So they had actually, just to give you a little history, they had seen actually lights flying across the sky for like a week prior. So when I researched Carbondale, it went all the way back into like the last week of October into November. There were stories like when you were talking about it, that people seeing the craft and hovering. None of that stuff turned out to be like fact. It was all like wives' tales, right? The one that had the most beef was this one about the teenagers, right? And first they said it was 5 kids. Then they said it was 3 kids. Then they said it was 4 kids, and then it was 5 kids again. So it doesn't matter whether it's 3 to 5 kids. Not really, but it is part of the search, part of the research. Okay, so there were scuba divers out there.
Yeah.
But here's what's hilarious: by 3:30 p.m. on Monday, the case was solved. They said it wasn't an alien craft. It was a 6-volt railroad lantern.
What?
Yeah. They said that they pulled out a railroad lantern out of the water.
That's the best they could do in terms of closing that case.
One of the kids, I found one name that came out, Bobby Gillette. And I don't think he's related to the Gillette razor family, but Robbie Gillette, he was a teen. He said in 1999 that he threw this lantern into the water.
In 1999, but this is 1970.
He confessed in 1999. Right?
Oh,
so
he's
74.
saying.
Yeah. Years later, he came out in 1999. And I guess it was before the whole year 2000 and the world was going to end. So he wanted to come clean.
So did you look up how big these railroad lanterns are?
Yeah, they're about yay big.
How would anybody mistaken that for a UFO landing in the water?
Because the light is so bright. I mean, it's pretty bright in the water. So, but I'm just saying.
Are those lanterns battery powered? The battery
Yes,
powered?
they are. The 6-volt battery on it. Yeah. And they're waterproof and everything. So he said he threw it in the water. Now, in 2016, Bobby said he didn't do it.
Bobby's got problems.
He died in 2018. So
he was the masked lantern guy. He went around town throwing these lanterns in water.
They called him the Green Lantern, but the lanterns weren't green, and he didn't have a power ring. It was just,
Bobby,
sad. It was just sad.
You know what? I'm gonna rule Bobby out. Bobby's got lantern issues.
So this kid said that I did it. I threw the lantern in because remember they came out with it, right?
Yeah.
They had scuba divers and everything that went in the water, and then they came out and they were like, "This was it. Look, guys, we told you it was this lantern."
Yeah, but
freaking Bobby Gillette.
Fucking Bobby. Call Bobby. I know, but this has Bobby written all over it.
Actually, you know what, sir? Now that you say that, the lantern says property of Bobby Gillette.
Bobby Gillette. No one said he's a smart lantern tosser. So did but here's the issue with this right now. So I'm a little confused, and I don't know if you're going to get to this, but 1,000 people see them pull something out of the thing and put it on a flatbed truck.
1,000
That's
people
not a lantern.
Were there. No, 1,000 people were there, and they saw the flatbed truck with something on it with a tarp over the top of it. Now, to explain what that is, they said that they had removed a coal breaker, which is a really pretty large piece of machinery.
Okay.
And they were removing it early Sunday morning, and by 6 a.m. it was loaded up on the truck and covered with a tarp, And then the guys, I guess, went to go have breakfast or something and then drove away. They waited for all these people to get there to go, look at that. That's a coal breaker. I'm looking at it. It's coal breaker.
Yeah.
But no one ever saw a ship. Okay. No one ever saw an alien. No one ever saw a meteorite. They try to explain this. Nobody ever saw a Russian satellite. Nobody saw an alien aircraft. Now, there is a guy that came out later in the 2000s by the name of Jerome Guillot. Jerome Guillot.
Mm-hmm.
He was a journalist at that time, and he was in a boat because he was in one of the boats, and he took a picture of the glowing light. And I saw the photo. It's actually kind of cool, but there's no telling what it was. And then on Monday afternoon, there's a picture of him now, Jerome, in the boat holding the lantern, saying, we found it. This is what the light was. So it's not a UFO. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
It's not a UFO.
Yeah.
Now, here's where the story gets weird.
I was hoping for weird. Because so far, this story to me is just like, okay, I thought people saw hovering crafts, and I saw.
There was a gas station attendant. It's always a gas station attendant.
That guy.
I love this.
Not that guy.
His name is Matty.
Mm-hmm. Matty Gillette.
It's Bobby's brother.
Matty.
That's all he gave his name was Matty. And dude, this guy, it was funny because I saw the interview with him, and it was like before Zoom. So whatever it was before Zoom, but he's like this close to the camera. His head looks like it's ginormous, and he's talking, and he's like this in the freaking camera, right? Talking like he's like, is this where I talk? I'm not really sure where I talk, right?
What year was this that he...
This was 74 that he said. He did it later. This was in the in like the 2015, 2016, something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And he said he worked at a gas station and he was pumping gas when the lady in the car that he was pumping gas to asked, what was that in the sky? And they looked up and they saw a ship. He said he took his flashlight because the ship was apparently that close. He got a flashlight and he asked the lady to plug it in. It was one of those big spotlight things. He asked them to plug it into the cigarette lighter in the car. That's the way. I'm not done yet. It gets good. And he shines it on the craft. And he said, I saw the ugliest ass creature I've ever seen looking at me out the window.
Matty.
Then he said that 3 orbs shot out of the ship. Pew, pew, pew. One went towards Russell Park. The other 2 went different places.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Maddie is the only one, and I guess the lady in the car that never came forward, who was Maddie's mom, probably.
Maddie's hostage. It was right before he put her in the basement of the gas station.
So, you're going to tell this story, right? I'm going to tell this story.
He's feeding her through a tube from the outside.
So the orb is what they're saying was in the water, and that orb was recovered. But that's a big freaking orb if it was on the back of a flatbed truck. So that's what I mean with this story. The more you dig, it's like the more it's like you're wrestling up silt from the bottom of a riverbed, and it just keeps coming and it keeps coming.
Yeah.
But none of these. There's no witnesses other than the 3 kids, Bobby Gillette, who said he threw the lantern in, that it wasn't a UFO, the lights in the sky, but people apparently saw something.
Yeah.
The people from the UFO network, that section director was there.
Yeah.
Hynek was there.
So that's where I lean into saying, why did they show up if this was a non-event? If this was not anything,
right.
We've seen them not show up to things that have more evidence than this.
Exactly.
And you go, why didn't they come? And on this one, they show up. So that's where I
heard a young Stephen Greer was there.
in his stroller. They wheeled him up. It's like, Mama, get me closer to orb.
No, he would have been in his Greer's in his late 60s, 70s. So in 74, he would have been probably teenager.
Yeah.
Maybe he was one of the teenagers.
Right.
He was like, that was Flippy's ship.
He was friends with Maddie. Maddie Gillette is his best friend. So just a couple of ads here, and I don't know if you're done, but the late 1973 through 1974, we should note that saw thousands of reports nationwide of UFOs. So The Midwest and Northeast states were particularly active. And these reports included low altitude hovering crafts, silent objects, bright illumination, ground trace effects, no lanterns. Nobody said anything about lanterns.
What?
Yeah.
Those aren't real. Those aren't real then.
Pennsylvania had multiple reports during that wave.
Yeah. That's one of the things. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to get into that?
I was just going to mention that Pennsylvania between 1972 and 1976 had thousands of sightings of lights in the sky.
Right. And multiple witnesses.
Lights in the sky. Fucking Bobby Gillette.
We went right to his house.
We were like, boom, boom, boom.
We want to talk to Bobby. Get him out of bed.
Quit throwing lanterns in the water. Those are expensive.
All right, what else you got? You got anything else to this?
That's all I got, bro. That's all I got. And the thing is that I couldn't find, besides Maddie on the freaking video, and a few names of Jerome Gillett and the lady who's the mayor now, Brenda. I think her name was Brenda Brennan. I think
she said she saw something.
She said that she saw them take something out of the water. She didn't see the lights. She was there the next day.
Maddie's not credible to me. Maddie's out. I don't even think I don't think Maddie threw lanterns in anything.
They should investigate Maddie for being a possible serial killer.
They should check Maddie's basement. You go down there and it's like this haunted basement with thousands of lanterns. And they're just like swinging on chains
and skulls,
and they're all on. Yeah, but until you get through all the lanterns, you gotta weed your way through. They're swinging on chains in his freaking basement. You're just like, and some are on, so they're flat. They're casting this odd, eerie, shadowy light in there, and you come around the corner, and there's just all kinds of bodies in the back of Maddie's basement.
And then you hear the most horrific voice go, "Mama, make me more Tostino's pizza rolls."
And then the cops are like, "We got the lantern killer. We got him." This guy.
I didn't do it. I saw an ugly ass creature in a spaceship when I shined that flashlight.
All right, there's no need to beat this one to death. We don't need to make the major motion picture out of this report. It is an interesting one, only in the fact that there are so many people witnessed it. But to me, I'm not going to weigh in you, but I'm going to hand it to you, Andrew. Is this a mostly true alien story or not?
I'm going to go with no. But, Carbondale has completely embraced this, dude. They have T-shirts, hats, pictures of aliens, murals all over the town. I'm like, guys, what are you painting aliens for? Nobody saw anything.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense. No, it's not. It's not a mostly true alien story. Right. I think it was some sort of governmental thing that crashed that was flying around, but I don't think it's aliens. I don't think it's aliens.
Okay, you say it's not a mostly true alien story. It's my turn to weigh in, and I agree with you. This is not a mostly true alien story. I don't even think it's a government thing. I think this was a bunch of kids, maybe a misunderstanding that just grew out of control. And I think the cops shooting at first sight, I think that they should have been talked to. I think Maddie throwing lanterns in ponds, to get that reputation, there's a reason, right? You get that reputation. This guy throws lanterns in the water all the time. I think the mayor, what she saw, she's just a child. I think it was just sort of a little mass hysteria or excitement in a town that really has probably no excitement. And, everybody heard something was in the water, the cops shot at it. Let's go check it out. And then it blew up from there. The only confusing thing for me was the Hynek and the, Mutual UFO Network people are showing up to investigate it when it seems like a non-issue. So then you question it to say, well, maybe it was bigger than that. And they did a very successful job
covering it up,
making it seem like it's nothing. Possibly. But that still wasn't enough in what we discussed today that would make me believe that this was true. So this is not a mostly true alien story. I say it's not a mostly true alien story. Andrew agrees with me. It is not a mostly true alien story. The Carbondale incident doesn't try to convince you of anything, in my opinion. There's something that it simply refuses to explain itself. Maybe there's something more to it. If there's anyone out there that knows more than we do, please let us know. Don't forget to subscribe to our show and follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Mostly True Alien Stories. There you can see daily content with really cool alien conversations and topics that we dive into outside of our episodes. We'll see you on the next episode. Until then, be kind to the aliens when they get here. Andrew, nice job on
Thanks, Neal.
non-story. No aliens here, people. They're coming.
UFO sightings. Many Americans have wondered about adapters of unknown objects.
Scientists in Mexico